So this afternoon we will be discussing a few very important shaylas halacha l'maisa, which are extremely negeya. So we're still a bit far off from Pesach, and between other halachas, we will be discussing Shloshim Yom Lifnei Chag. It's a bit more than Shloshim Yom Lifnei Chag, but these halachas are very important and relevant. So many B'nai Torah today, bearing in mind that we live in houses which are far bigger than the houses our parents or previous generations lived in, and we have so much more stuff in our homes, and we are so much firmer than our parents and grandparents were. So all of these reasons together bring about that many young couples today do b'dikas chometz before Leil Yud Dalet. And people start being b'dik chometz 2 or 3 days earlier, and they're b'dik one room and another room and another room, and they leave a room for b'dika b'Leil Yud Dalet to make a bracha. And that is the basic halacha I want to discuss, but to get there, we will deal with various seifim Shulchan which we have learned in Tov Lamed Gimel and in Tov Lamed Vav. So at the beginning of Tov Lamed Vav, Hamefaresh mi'abosh layam o yoytze b'shiyora ve'enoi meniach v'beisoi mi sheyivdek. If any other family members are at home, then he has no problem, because Mrs. Bedika is upon the family. It's like a Ludas Hanukkah. One of the members of the family has to do bedika. It doesn't necessarily needs to be the father or the oldest son, but all people living in this house, all members of the household, have a collective chiyuv to do bedikas chometz. So if any family members are at home, even if the father wouldn't be at home, it's okay that somebody is bedikas chometz. But a person that leaves his house and nobody will be home b'Leil Yud Dalet, then he has a mitzvah tov shlosh yom zokuk livdoi. V'im dato l'achzor. And if his plan is to come and live in that house, he hopes to be back for Chol HaMoed. And it is very common. People go the first day's Yom Tiv to parents or to children, and they plan to come home. Then Chayav livdoi even before 30 days. But the Ramah writes, if he is boidik within 30 days, v'lo yavorach az al biyar chometz, he can't make the bracha till Leil Yud Dalet. And this is a big machlokes. V'sholosh machlokes v'dava. So the Ramah paskins, you never make a bracha, only Leil Yud Dalet. And that is based on the first Mishnah Mesech Psachim. All Yud Dalet boidik mesachom is loraneh. That is the Zman. The Bach says, Shloshim Yom. Because the halacha is Shloshim Yom Lifnei Chag, Shoylam v'Dorshim v'Hilchas HaChag, and that is the basis of this halacha as well. Toch Shloshim Yom, even if he has no plan to be in this house, but he is already chayiv b'bedikas chometz because it's Toch Shloshim Yom. So the Bach says Toch Shloshim Yom, you say a bracha. If you are one of those that al pi halacha should be boidik lifnei Leil Yud Dalet, hamafarish you say a bracha, but not before Shloshim Yom, because before Shloshim Yom we have no mitzvah b'dikas chometz. So the reason you need to be b'dik is only because you'll have a problem when you get home in Chol HaMoed. So the b'dika before Shloshim Yom, even according to the Bach, is a technicality. It is only because, not because right here and now we have a chiyuv b'dika. Lifnei Shloshim Yom there is no shayla v'darshan. Therefore, the Bach says, Toch Shloshim Yom, you do make a bracha, but not Lefnei Shloshim Yom. And the Pri Chodesh totally rejects this halacha, and the Pri Chodesh says, whenever a person has to do b'dikas chometz, he makes a bracha. And in Dato Lachzor, even Lefnei Shloshim Yom, he needs to be b'dik with a bracha. That is the shit of the Pri Chodesh. They all would agree, and this brings us back to, I think, the previous year I said, the first year I said in b'dikas chometz, that a person that's b'dik liyacha yamei chag, and all he's looking for is Chomesh over or Pesach, Zeder Shem Yovalechal, he definitely doesn't say a bracha, but we won't go back to that sugya. So Sholosh Machlokes B'Dovar, does a person say a bracha al b'dikas chometz lifnei Leil Yud Dalet? The Ramah says never. And regardless, whether it's Toch Shloshim Yom or Liachar Shloshim Yom, what the circumstances are. The bracha is only said B'Leil Yudalet. The Bach says Toch Shloshim Yom, but not Lefnei Shloshim Yom. And in Minchas Osher Chelik Gimel Shalos Shuvas, I don't recall exactly what siman. I think it's siman Chof Ches. I explained both all the three shittas, and I brought each of these opinions has a base of B'Divrei HaRishonim. The Ritva brings his great Rebbe the Ra'ah, that a person makes a bracha even before Shloshim Yom. The Meiri brings his opinion, and the Meiri says, "Ei nera." The Meiri coincides with the Ramah that you don't say a bracha before only Leil Yudalet. So each of these three opinions, the Bach, the Pri Chodesh, and the Ramah, have a base of B'Divrei Rabbeinu Rishonim. But needless to say that we paskin in accordance to the Ramah, especially because of the brachas l'kola. And if according to the Ramah you don't say a bracha l'fnei Yudalet, that is the psak of the Mishnah Brura and all the others. So
the Bach before 30 is, even though you have chiyuv, why wouldn't you be in Bach?
What?
According to the Bach, why before 30 wouldn't you be in Bach?
I think I explained. I was mavriya b'Rishoini the way I understand the Bach. I think the Bach's understanding is this: Toch Shloshim Yom, there's a chiyuv of bedikas chometz, which is defined as a chiyuv bedikas chometz, and the chiyuv is because of right here and now. Shoelim v'dorshim b'hilchas haPesach Toch Shloshim Yom, and that is why Afal Pi Shein Dato L'Achzer. So when Pesach will come, there's no Shashem Yoverlech, he's not going to be at home. And a Minchas Oshel Psochim, I don't know whether you have a Minchas Oshel Psochim. Do you have one here? Yes? Oh. So Minchas Oshel Psochim, what am I trying to remember? Yes. In Minchas Oshel Psochim I argued that if a person is far away from his house, he's not over on Bal Yiro because it's not Motzui Biyodoi. I wrote, I would like to come every day and give a shiur because I have so much to say. But I know that you don't have so much to listen, so I have to say. Chazal say, Yotzei Masha Poro Roitze Linaka, Yotzei Masha Eger Roitze Linaka, Poro Roitze Laini. So, I wrote a very yesodistic arichas in Minchas Osher, one of the first Amonim on Masechet Psochim, which is more lumdis than Halacha. And I discussed the fundamental question: is Bal Yaroah based on Bailes on the Chometz or Bailes on the house? And that is interesting chakira. Belishne Dekra, we have two emphases: Lo Yaroah Lecha. And Chazal say, Shalcha, Iyatoroya, Avratoroya, Shal Acherim. So this posuk and this drash seems to be based on an assumption that the Shoresh Isur of Lo Yaroah is Bailes on the Chometz. But you're not over only if your Chometz is in your home. So the home is the Tanai, it's a condition. But the Etzem Isur is your Chometz. Or maybe on the other hand, no. In the Torah we find Lo Yaro Lachum Zorach Zorach B'chol Gvulecho, right? That's the Lashon of the Pasuk, B'chol Gvulecho. So maybe the Shoresh Isher is the Gvul. I can't have Chometz in my house, but you're not over only if the Chometz is yours. So in the Pasuk, and also in Sugyas HaGemorah, we find that a person is not over Bal Yaroah, Bal Yamotza, only if the Chometz is his, and the house is his. Regarding the house, you don't need Bailus, because a Soicher is Chayav Livdoikes Abayis, and Schiris Lokanya. So Schiris doesn't enact the proper Kinyan. The Halacha is Schiris Lokanya, regarding Shvisas Behem Toila Moshe. A Soicher is not over Menatoilas Shvisas Behem Toila, it's not his. But by Chometz, Soicher is over. So the question is, which is the Etzem Isur and which is the Tanai? What's the essence and what is a condition? Is the Gedar, you cannot have Chometz, but you're not over if your Chometz is elsewhere. Or the gather is you can't have chometz in your house, but you're not over if that chometz isn't yours. So what's the shaysh and what's the condition? And I wrote, and that would coincide with concepts that we find within kinyonim, shaloi and breshusoi. Gozol v'loinis yashu abaylim shneim enim yicholim laglish zeh mishum she'ena shaloi v'zeh mishum she'ena breshusoi. So regarding Torah's kinyonim, we have two different concepts, shaloi and breshusoi. Gozol v'loinis yashu abaylim shneim enim yicholim laglish. The Ganav can be Magdish because it's not his. Nothing is more poshut than a person can be Magdish, something that isn't his. How could he give away and how could he be Magdish if it isn't his? But the Ravusa is, even the Bailam can't be Magdish because it's not Breshusay. So in Torah's Kinyonim we find two ideas, two concepts, Shaloi and Breshusay. And those two are possibilities regarding Bali Yaro and Bali Motzah. What is Shoresh Echet and what is the condition? Shaloi and Bershusai. And I came up with a new Hagidara. Motzui biyodoi. Not Shaloi and not Bershusai, but Motzui biyodoi. And Chazal say, Maskin Shekibro Lavachrayis, he's over Mena Torah. Why? Motzui biyodoi. And the only source in which we find a similar idea is Binyan Maser Shayim Bolakamet Tzadik Ches Motzui Biyodoi. But I went on to explain Motzui Biyodoi is not only a chumrah, and that is Bekodon Shekibel Olav Achrayis. It is also a kula. And if I have my chumetz in my house, but it's 1,000 miles away, I'm not over in Bali Yaro and Bali Motzah, because it is not beheseg yad. What's heseg yad in English? Zelo beheseg yadi.
Arm's reach. Available.
Literally translated, arm's reach, but that is not what we mean. If he's 1,000 miles away and there's no way of getting there, and that is the din of chometz shenofel all of mapoilis. If the mapoilis is gimel tfochim, he's not chayev livdoik. Why isn't he chayav livdik? It's in his yard. No one else could walk in there, and it's his chometz. But not for all of mapoilis. If the mapoilis is gimel tvochem, there's no chiyuv bedika. Neither does he have a chiyuv bittel. The Ramban writes. Why is that? It's his chometz, and it's his house. It's not motzu biyodoi. If it's under a mapoilis and it's a tercha to be mafana that mapoilis, it's not motzu biyodoi. So motzu biyodoi goes both ways.
The case of the mashkin, is that because Kinyan Shmir or not? Could it be because Kinyan Shmir? Bailus?
No. Shmir is not bias. Shmir is not bias. Whoever learned El Choshamrim would never define Shmir as bias. Shmir could be bias when we're dealing with a shoyel, even with a mashkin, but definitely not a shoy mechinam or even a shoy mesocha. And the Rishonim, some Rishonim maintains that Chiyuv b'gneva v'aveda is Motzei biyodoi. So it has nothing to do with Bailis. Shoy Mesocha is not Bailim. A Shoyel and a Soicha have a certain darg of Bailis, but even Shoyel v'Soicha, I quoted before, Schilas lo kanya, Shara lo kanya. So it's not the Bailis. The Gemara says Motzei biyodoi. That's not my Chiddush, that's the Gemara. Lo ye Motzei, Motzei biyodoi. So, Chomet shekibel olav achrayis, the Gemara says, why is he over? Motzei biyodoi. So chometz shekibel olav achrayis, he doesn't have bias, but it's motzei biyodoi. And motzei biyodoi works the other way around. So chometz shenofel olav mapoilis, there is no chiyuv because it's not motzei biyodoi. So I argued and I was mechiach merashi. It's your house and your chometz, but if you're 100 miles away, you have no chiyuv diurais. But nevertheless, toch shloshim yoyim, chayav livdoik. Why not lefnei shloshim yoyim? Toch shloshim yoyim, there's a chiyuv bedike. Lefnei shloshim yoyim, there's no chiyuv bedike. So, da'ato lachso, it needs to be boidik lefnei shloshim yoyim, but that is only a precaution because he's going to come home. And when he comes home, he's going to have an aveda. That is why it's happening. So that's the shit of the Bach. The Bach says, toch shloshim yoyim, in essence, we're dealing with chiyuv bedike's chometz. The Fnei Shloshim Yom, it's a technicality, the Chiyuv Bedika, It is only to avoid a situation that will be relevant when he comes home in the middle of Pesach. And that is why you don't say a bracha. We understand the Pri Chodesh as well. The Pri Chodesh argues it does nothing have to do with Lamdas. Al Pi Halacha, he needs to take a ner and he needs to be boidek. Whenever a person is chayev livdek chametz, he says a bracha. That's the Pri Chodesh. But what is most important for us is understanding the Ramah, because the Ramah is the Halacha L'Maisa. And there are two different interpretations and approaches to understand the Ramah, which is Halacha L'Maisa. You don't say a bracha only b'leil Yudalad. The Bir Agra, quoted by the Mishnah Berurah Sif Koten Dalad, V'lo yavorach, the kishaboydek b'leil arba'asot tiknu lavorach al bir chametz. So the Gaon says, and that is the Mishnah Berurah, Shartzion, Bir Agra. What is the bracha? What is the nusach of bracha? Al bir chametz. So Leil Yudalet, you could say the bracha al bir chametz, because masha, whatever he finds, manichoy b'tzino, and the b'dika of Leil Yudalet is already a preparation to the bir for tomorrow morning. But if you're waiting a week before Pesach, and whatever you find you're going to eat, and it's not b'chlal the day of bir, so how can you say al bir chametz? B'dika is in the bir. Bir is destroying the chametz. So Leil Yudalet, we see the bedika as tchilas habir. But if you're waiting 3 weeks before Pesach, and probably whatever you find you're going to eat, you have no reason to tie it up and put it away for 3 weeks later. So how could you say al bir chametz? So according to the Bir Agra and the Mishnah Berurah, it seems to be a technicality. It has to do with the nusach habracha. If it's not Leil Yudalet, you can't say al bir chametz, because the bedika cannot be defined and seen as tchilas habir. That's why you don't say a bracha. Shulchan Aruch Harav, and in the Meiri, it's very clearly said. Shulchan Aruch Harav says, "Lo tiknu lavorach elo al ikar hazman." The zman is Leil Yudalet. That's the Mishnah, Ol Yudalet. So Shulchan Aruch Harav says, "Lo tiknu lavorach elo beikar hazman." The Meiri says, "Lo tiknu lavorach elo bezmanoi." He doesn't even say ikar zman. That is the zman. Zman shetiknu chazal. Which brings us to a very fundamental question. The Mishnah Berurah in Tov Lamed Gimel, the beginning of Tov Lamed Gimel, the Mishnah Berurah deals. Could a person lechatchila be boidik before Leil Yudalet? Let's have a look at the first Yivkot in Tov Lamed Gimel. הבדיקה צורך שתהיה לו עיר הנר ובליל ארבעשו, שעוש בני אדם מציעים בביתיהם ועונה יופר הבדיקה. מה שאין כביום. ואם הקדם ובודק ליל שלוש עשור, צורך להחזב ולבדק בליל 14, כתונס רחמים, ומכל מקום נרד דין לבוח אז בלילה על הבדיקה. But if he was בודק ליל יוד גימל, he needs to do it again ליל יוד ד', but then you shouldn't say a bracha. The yesh poiskim de b'diavad yosef b'bdika rishoyna. Kein eskim urav achroinim. V'roitz l'achman atzman atzav v'livdik. Al kol ponim lo yavorech. And the Sharatzian, he goes to an extreme. And the Sharatzian writes, not only Rav achroinim say that b'diavad ein tzorach l'atzav v'livdik, even l'chatchila. Person could be moedek leil yud gimel, if he leaves a room to be boidek leil Yudalet. Where is that? Mashma. Medivra Pri Chodesh v'Agra v'loch staras choy kiyanka mashma filo chatchila yochal livdek b'leil shlosh osor. Yem rak meschal Hashem bedika. Hey, b'sefer choy ki Yosef pik b'kalzeh. The after and Sabbath bedika in k'peidem m'kol mokom yesh na menoya de yafsid abrocha. I don't know who the Chok Yosef is. I don't remember. But the Chok Yosef says, if he leaves a room for Leil Yudalet, the lechatchila could be boiling before. So the Mishnah Berurah brings from many achroinim, even a lechatchila person could be boiling b'Leil Yud Gimel. And to me, that is a taime gedolah. Because if the Shulchan Aruch Harav says, Lo tiknu lavorach ela beikar hazman, and the Meiri says the same, would that be a din only affecting the bracha? To me, it's even more poshut. That's ikar hazman. So this brings into question what's pshat in the first line in Mishnayos Psuchim. All you dalet boikes. How could one say you could be boidik lechatchila b'lei yud gimel? So how do they explain all you dalet boikes chometz? They would need to say ad all you dalet. The last time is all you dalet, and to me that would be an awesome chiddush. Well, the Rishonim should say that. Ad or Yudalet, that means you have time. Ad or Yudalet. Why wouldn't we be mefarish that Konas Chachomim is or Yudalet boikim mezachomes? That is the zman, and to me it makes so much sense.
Well, everyone's asking to leave over a room. And the Mishnah is going to
Leaving over a room is only a solution for the bracha. So give me another 5 minutes, I will explain. So if the Shulchan Aruch Harav and the Meiri say you can't say a bracha only al ikar hazman, what would ikar hazman be? Ikar hazman lo noilad b'dinei brachas. Ikar hazman starts with dinei bedika. And our understanding in the first mission is all Yud Dalet means all Yud Dalet. That is the zman shetiknu chachomim. Why would chachomim be metakan all Yud Dalet? First of all, it's a Gemara daf Aleph Amud Aleph in Psuchim. For some reason, I always like to say daf Aleph. I don't know why. It always fascinates me. Because as children, we never said daf Aleph. So, daf Aleph Amud Aleph in Masechet Psuchim, naturally in Yerushalmi, the Yerushalmi asks this very question. Why does the B'dika need to be all Yud Dalet? And the Yerushalmi has an amazing answer, and he says, Ach b'yoyim harishon. B'yoyim harishon means Laila b'yoyim. Shi'ei Laila b'yoyim b'yachad. That is why all Yud Dalet. The Bavli brings the Braisa, two different reasons. B'nei Odom Mitzuyim b'vatayim, v'or haner yofa lebedika. That's why it needs to be B'nai. The Yerushalmi says a different idea, because it needs to be Laila b'yoyim. So the Yerushalmi asks, so why not Leil Yud Gimel? And the Yerushalmi gives a typical Jewish response. It is said the Jews always answer with another kasha. So the Yerushalmi asks, if you need a night and a day, why not Leil Yud Gimel? And the Yerushalmi says, why not from Rosh Chodesh? Which means, very simply, Chazal wanted a zman in which Kol Beis Yisrael shut down their stores, shut down their shops, put aside their activities, and this is the time for B'dikas Chometz. And if everybody would be boidik on another night, many people at the end would forget. And that is the nature of people. Yeah? He planned to be boidik Sunday, and then he forgot Sunday, so he pushed it off to Tuesday, and Tuesday had an important meeting, and at the end, there won't be any B'dikas Chometz. So the Yerushalmi says something very clear and very poshut. We need Laila b'yoyim. Why not Leil Yud Gimel? So the Yerushalmi says Leil Yud Gimel. So maybe Yud Beis or Yud Aleph or Yud or like the first Mishnah Masechet Megillah. Yeah, you have 7 days, and the Yerushalmi says no. So Pashtus all Yud Dalet is a tekona that's not only le'inyan abrocha. It's first of all le'inyan abedika. This is the zman of bedikas chometz. So how would a person be Mekayim a mitzvah b'di'evet, and why shouldn't he lechatchila be Mekayim the mitzvah b'zman shetiknu chazal, b'derech shetiknu chazal? All Yud Dalet is not till all Yud Dalet, it is all Yud Dalet, and that is the zman shechachomim tiknu lebedika. Even according to the Gaon and the Mishnah Berurah, and we would argue it's a technicality that has to do with nusach habrocha. No. I think that when we say Lefnei Ol Yudani, they can't say the bracha. So why won't we be the poetic without a bracha? So the Chok Yosef says, if you leave a room for the bracha, it's okay. No. If Chazal were metaken, tzorech lavorach al bedikas chometz, person does bedikas chometz without a bracha, it's not only that he's missing a bracha, If the problem would be he's missing a brocha, so take a cup of water and make a shahakal. No, cola, not water. Because water, you'll have a problem, shesamayim litzamoy. So take a cup of juice, and you're going to have 2 brochas. You're going to be better off. You're going to make a shahakal and a boil and a foshes. So what's the problem of missing a brocha? No, we're not dealing with mere brochas. Person does a mitzvah, which is chayav a brocha, and he does it without a brocha, he's oiva and an isra derabanan. Because berachas and mitzvahs are a chiyuv, not a privilege. It's a chiyuv gomer. And a person is mekayim a mitzvah without a brocha, he's mevatel mitzvahs asay derabanan. It's an aveira. So what kind of a solution is that leave a room? But I was boidek all the other rooms without a brocha. And that's an aveira. Because Chazal tiknu shetzorach levorach ala mitzvahs. And if you're a mekayim a mitzvah without a brocha, that's not the right thing to do. So it's not a solution, leave a room. If our problem would only be I'm missing a brocha, make a shahakal. You don't even have to leave a room. Go visit a friend and you say a shehechiyanu. There are so many brochas that we could make, wonderful brochas. It's Nisan. Berachas Alonis. No, I have to say Berachas Alonis anyway. I can't say it twice. So the best solution is drink a cup or eat a piece of cake and you're going to make 2 brochas. The problem is not missing out a brocha. The problem is performing a mitzvah without a brocha. So it's not a solution, leave a room. Yes, I'm going to say a brocha al bedikas chometz. But I did bedikas chometz 5 times without a brocha in the past 5 nights, and that is unavailable. So one could argue, no. If your boy declared you would give, you don't have a mitzvah. And if you don't have a mitzvah, you don't need to say a brocha. So I wrote a tshuva. Oram lo yitroin. That's a Mishnah in the beginning of Masechet Trumas. From this Mishnah we learn that you cannot perform a mitzvah without a brocha. And it's not just a problem of losing out a brocha. It's not a problem of mea brochas. You know, the poskim have various solutions with mea brochas. Take besamim. Oram lo yitrim teaches us that very halacha. Afrosh's tum is chayim b'brocha. So Oram, he's naked. Liberoya esuav, he can't say a brocha. He's an oinus. In these circumstances, he's not allowed to say the brocha. But if you're not allowed to say a brocha, you're not allowed to be mafresh tuma. Because Afrosh's tum is chayim b'brocha. And if you can't say a brocha, then you're not mafresh tuma. Because Afrosh without a brocha is an aveira. Nevertheless, I wrote, Minig Oilam, and I think it's correct to be matbel kelim al yedei goy, and you don't say a brocha. So I'm fully aware that the Pri Chodesh in Kuf Chof in Yerodea says a matbel kli al yedei goy could say the brocha, and the Machna Flying Perik Yud Aleph Mishluchin quotes the Pri Chodesh and he learns from the Pri Chodesh. Say malacha aboyna maka beroish gagoy al yedei goy says a brocha. But both the Machna Ephraim and the Pri Chodesh are a Gevaldig Chiddush. And they say, when the essence of the mitzvah is not the Maisa, but the result, you could make a brocha even when you perform the mitzvah Yidei. And this psak is a Teime Gedoyla. Because after all, how can you say the brocha when you are not doing the mitzvah? Ein shlichus l'nodin. You are not performing the mitzvah. So how exactly are you saying a brocha? You are not the one that's matbel kelim. It's your responsibility. You're seeing to it that the kelim would be mutar b'shimush. You're seeing to it that you could use the roof because the roof has a mica. But at the end of the day, you're not the one building a mica. You're not the one that does tefillas kelim. How could you say a brocha? So that's the shit of the Pri Chodesh. You know, the Pri Chodesh was a moire de kalam, but in 90% of the cases, ein halachic emoisai. He's the major bar plukta of the Ramah. I don't know whether it's because he's a Sephardi and the was an Ashkenazi, but he is the big bar plukta of the Ramah, and in most cases, ein halachic emoisai, but he's awesome. So it's a gevaldige chiddush of the Pri Chodesh, and the Machna 1,000 footsteps regarding a Siyas HaMakom. La halacha, I think most good people. So when you bought some new kalim, you do it for yourself. The question primarily is people that have hotels or they have restaurants and they buy hundreds of kalim and you need a worker to be matbel kalim. So the proper minig is you take the first kli and you be matbel yourself and you make a broch al tfilas kalim. And all the others, according to the Machna Ephraim, so okay, you made a brocha. However, I say, meikar adin, mutar lachatchila lahad bel kelim al yidei goy. And you don't have a problem of bittul brocha. Because if you're not performing the mitzvah, you don't have a chiyuv of a brocha. I'm not doing the mitzvah, so I also don't have an aveda. The problem is, when the person is a mafresh truma, but he can't say a brocha because liberoi as well. You're chayiv levorach, because you're mafresh truma. And you're not saying a brocha, that's a leveda, that's the din of oram lo yutram. But if I'm mafresh al yidei goy, then I don't have a chiyuv. So what's the situation when he's boydek chumetz beleil yud gimel? Is that similar to oram lo yitram, or is it similar to matbel al yidei goy? If it's similar to matbel al yidei goy, then we understand the Chok Yosef. The Chok Yosef is right. Whatever I do before leil yud gimel is no problem whatsoever. I'm potter from a brocha. So to me it's a pashtus. It's doime to oram lo yitroim. Because we paskin accordance to the Ramah because Sofek brochas lokula. But the Pri Chodesh and the Bach, at least toch loshim yom, say that he's chayiv b'brocha. The Sha'ar Tziyun, beginning of Tov Lamed Gimel says, according to the Bach, everyone that's boydek before Leil Yudalad is chayiv b'brocha. If not the Chayodim, we would say, no, maybe only a mafres v'ayoytze l'shiyora. That is his din. But if a person shaloik din is boydek b'leil yud gimel, maybe even according to the Bach, he doesn't say a brocha because it's shaloi b'zmana. There's room to argue that even the Bach is only b'chayiv b'brocha, a mafres me yabosh aliyam v'ayoytze b'shiyora, because his man is toch shloishim. But if a person could be boydek b'leil yudalad, then he's boydek b'leil yud gimel, he doesn't say a brocha. But the Sha'ar Tziyun maintains, according to the Bach, even if you don't have a reason to be makdim the bedike, toch shloishim yom chayiv levorech.
Even in the
So-
case of the Taflam Gimel?
What?
Even in the case of Taflam Gimel? The
Yes. Yeah. Let's have a look.
The Bach is the Machmer Taflam Gimel that not Yitzim Yedu, which is your Gimel.
What?
First can bring the Bach into the Machmer Taflam Gimel, you cannot.
I think the Sha'ar Tziyun is in Tov Lamed Vav.
Gabe and Farish.
No, even when he's not mafres mi abosh aliyam. I think the Mishabura maintains that according to the Bach, everybody that is boydek, the toch lamed needs to say a broch. Let's see, you've got Yud.
Bi'aloch is the beginning of Taflam Gimel. Discusses
What is the bi'alocha?
discusses the issues, brings the
Just a minute. Yeah, so the bi'alocha brings the ritva. What do we have in the beginning of Tov Lamed Gimel?
There's no reference to a bracha over there.
I think in Sifkot and Hay, Mashma Medivra Asher Tzion, that according to the Bach, even if he's not Yoitzel Shiyora, he would say a broch. Sifkot and Hay and Tov Lamed Gimel. But let us put this aside. According to the Bach, you say a brocha. According to the Bichodesh, you say a brocha. So why go into Sveikus? Sofek brochas local, but why go into Sveikus and be boidig Leilud Gimel or Leilud Beis when according to many poiskim, you're mechuyev to say a brocha and you're not saying a brocha because of Sofek brochas local. But why go into this lechatchila? And therefore, in my opinion, lechatchila one should be boidig Leilud Daled. And not Leilud Gimel. Lo mebai l'shitasa meiri and Shulchan Harav. And I think that is the more reasonable svara. Why you don't say a brocha only b'Leilud Daled, because that is Ikar Zman. But even according to the Gra, if you can't say a brocha, you're not supposed to perform the mitzvah. Because when Chazal say Orem lo yitrom, it's not because you're missing a brocha. Missing a brocha is the smallest problem. You could make up for it. It's because you cannot be mekayim a mitzvah shechayovim levorach aleya without a brocha, and therefore, I think it's a minagara. So regarding the problem of doing bedikas chometz in an entire house, when a person is medaktik ba'alocha and it's boidik mokum shemachnisim b'chometz, I don't think it needs to take 5 hours. I don't think it needs to be that difficult. And I have a reasonably big house, and I think in a half hour, 45 minutes, you could be boidik abayis, lachatchila, lefi halacha, and be boidik every mokum shemachnisim b'chometz. So you just need to learn the halachas. How do we define a mokum shemachnisim b'chometz? What exactly is a mokum shemachnisim b'chometz? And clothes that went through the washing machine with chomrei kvisa, you don't need to check all the pockets. So I think you could be boidik lahalacha, a reasonably big house or a normal house in an hour. So put aside an hour b'lei yudalid, and you're makayim the mitzvah tchilosa v'atzoifa b'lei yudalid, because as I explained, l'shitosi, it's not lachatchila to be boidik without a brocha, and putting aside a room doesn't solve any problem.
That's
So-
without cleaning the house for a month before.
What?
Meaning without cleaning the house a month before. Meaning no cleaning, nothing, no you've done it. I'm going and checking my house and
No,
cleaning it.
well, there are more rights that the minig is to clean your house, but the reason that you clean your house is just to make it easier. The minig to clean your house, b'yom yudalet, before leil yudalet, is exactly, you should be able to perform the b'dike ke'el chasal. Because if you don't clean your house, and you're going to have to start packing away all the chumash you find, then it's going to take too much time. So the entire minig of cleaning your house thoroughly is just to make the bedika reasonable, and you should be able to perform the mitzvah bedika ka'alocha, and without spending the entire night.
Why is
that
that
is the
not being
minig of
brought
being buying your house.
Why is that not being about the bracha on that chelik of the bedika?
So that's the Tumas Adeshin. That brings us to question number 2. So the Tumas Adeshin says, and that is a psak in Shulchan Aruch, even though a person was boidik, a person cleaned his house thoroughly. Where's that halacha that brings us back to what? Tov Lamed Gimel. המחבת חן רוי בשלוש עושה בניסן, ומחבת לבדק החומץ ולוורוי, בניסן שלו להכנס, אף על פי כן צורך לבדוק. And the Tumas Adeshin, I think it's Kuf Lamed Gimel, brings 2 reasons. One reason is, cleaning is not bedika, and a chachamon were mechayev bedika, and bedika is looking for chametz. So when a mother or a balas habayis cleans the house, that is not bedika, that is kibud, and kibud is not bedika. And then the Tumas Edition writes an additional reason, Kedei Shalo Lechalek Bebedika, and the mitzvah is live doik beleil Yudalid. So this once again makes the halach at the beginning of Tov Lamed Gimel, the Mishnah Berurah, the Shasim, very problematic. If the Tumas Edition writes Lo Lechalek Bebedika, the Tumas Edition is based once again on the Yerushalmi, and it's a psak in Shulchan Aruch, Tzorach Latzav live doik beleil Yudalid. So why would we say a person l'chadchila could be boidik and leil yud gimel? So right here, the Mishnah Berurah once again brings the eitzah of leaving a room, and it is either in Bi'alacha or in Sharat Tzion. The Sharat Tzion writes tzorach iyun, because maybe the svara shelo lachalek be'bedika lebedika refers to all the rooms and not only to one room. So the Tumas Edition himself writes an afkamina between the two tamim. If we say kibud is not bedika, then even if you leave over one room, that doesn't help, because you weren't performing, you weren't mekayim mitzvahs of bedika in the entire house. So it wouldn't help if you leave one room. But if it's kedei shelo lachalek bedika lebedika, if you leave one room to do bedikas chometz, you don't have to be boidik all the others. So the understanding of the Tumas Edition is, Chachamim wanted everybody to do B'dikas Chumetz B'leil Yudalet, but the Sharat Tzion argues, no. Maybe Kedei Shelo Lechalek Ben B'dika LeB'dika is Machayev to do your entire B'dikas Chumetz B'leil Yudalet. Where is that? מה שהיתקנו במשנה ברורו, ולפי מה שכסבנו, שלא לחלק בין בדיקה לבדיקה, you can leave one room, לא מהנה מה שיבדק בלילה רק חדר אחד. יש לא אימה, אוקיי. יש לא אימה, שלא יתחל הכוח, הכל בייס ובייס. So,
is it clear in the Trumas session that his problem is he needs a time where it's b'shah shavnei adam mishviyah. So he says if you do it during the day, even if you did a really good job, you still have that problem of the. So if you leave something over at night, then you could be mekayim. You can mekayim the shalol lachalik. But if you did it the night before, you could also be mekayim the shalol lachalik ben bedika lebedika. The whole problem is
just one moment. So he brings it to Tumas Edition in the Mishnah Berurah that according to the Tam of Shalot Techalek, if he leaves one room it's okay, וגם dim זה אינו ברור כל כך. יש לו אם שלא תחלקו, הכל בייס ובייס. Okay?
maybe the point isn't necessarily leil yudal, but like the Yerushalmi, but the point is at night, not during the day. Because like the Ran also has a problem. Is it clear that we're going with the Yerushalmi? The Ran has a problem also with the day of the day before. And he says you have two problems. One is b'shah shavnei. Even if you clean it good, you have a problem of b'shah shavnei adam mitzvah. If you were to do it the night before, it would be that would work. According to the Talmud of our Gemara, as long as you're satisfied in, maybe the night before would also work.
So according to the reasoning of our Gemara, we understand very well the difference between Yom Yud Gimel and Leil Yud Gimel. Because the Gemara gives two reasons why Belayla and not B'Yom. But my argument is, these two reasons are only needed to explain why Leil Yudalet v'lo Yom Yudalet. But why not Leil Yud Gimel? That's even Poshet Yoisa. That the Gemara doesn't even need to give a reason. Because only Yud Dalet Boit Gimel Sachometz. So the Gemara only deals why only Yud Dalet and not Yud Dalet. We understand that B'dikas Chometz is a mitzvah of Erev Pesach. But why by night and not by day? So the Gemara needs to explain why did Chazal prefer doing this mitzvah by night and not by day? But why not Yud Gimel, that's the Yerushalmi, because this man is of Pesach. Yud Gimel is as good as Yud Beis, as Yud Aleph, as the Chodesh, as Shloshim Yom. So, obviously, according to the Tumas Hadeshen, Shaloi Techalek Bedika LeBedika would be that we want to do Bedikas Chometz L'Oraner. I would understand Shaloi Techalek Bedika LeBedika is that everybody should do Bedikas Chometz B'Leil Yudalid. But we need to recheck the Tumas Hadeshen. Maybe in the Lashon of the Tumas Hadeshen, it's mufresh shelo kidvarai. But shelo techalek bedika lebedika is a Yerushalmi, and the Tumas Hadeshen quotes the Yerushalmi. So my understanding would be that everybody should do bedikas chometz b'leil yudalid, and that is why even if he thoroughly did it b'yoyim. So my opinion is lechatchila you need to do bedikas chometz matchila v'atzav b'leil yudalid, and it's better to be less machmir in scratching the roof and scratching the floor, and do bedikas chometz bezman shetiknu chazal, which is leil yudalid, and not look for chumris yuseris and oifer bedika, which would necessitate starting bedikas chometz before leil yudalid. However, in our modern world, there are hundreds of shaylas, which I deal with every year, people that need to be boidik more than their house. So once upon a time, you don't have to go back 1,000 years, even 100 years in Europe. There was no such a thing that you had a clinic or a shop or an office an hour or 2 hours away from your home. How would you get there? People didn't have cars. There was no transportation. To have a buggy and a horse cost probably half of your monthly salary, and people walked. So everybody had his work in his shop, 5 minutes, 10 minutes walk from his home. So today a person walks in an office and it's a 2-hour drive from his home. Does he need to do bedikas chometz in his office? B'leil yudalid. People have summer homes. So a person planned to be the first day Yom Tov in his house with all his children, and the first day Chol Hamoed, he flies out or he drives 5 hours to a summer house and he wants to spend time there on Chol Hamoed. So does he have to do the bedikas chometz in that other place, whether it's a doctor that has a clinic, or a person that works in an office, or a soldier that has a room in his army base, or so many situations. A person has a summer home and he plans to spend time. So does he need to do bedikas chometz b'leil yudalid, or in these cases he could be mekel lechatchila and be boidik before leil yudalid? And in these cases, I am quite an extreme makel. And this brings us to a broader question. How much tercha does a person need to be terech b'chlal, to be makayim a mitzvah? And how much tercha does it need to be terech to be makayim a mitzvah b'hidura, b'shleimusa, b'oifen shalachatchila? So we have very few sources dealing with tercha. But in Minchas Osha Pashas V'Yetzei, I wrote a very fundamental thing. And in the new Sefer, last Minchas Osha that came out, Klolei HaMitzvahs. Don't ask me for a Sefer because I don't have any, and Baruch Hashem, in 1 month the Sefer was sold out and we need to reprint it. So the new Minchas Osha Klolei HaMitzvahs, I dealt with this question. Tov Reish Nun Vav, Sif Aleph, the Ramo writes, Ein Odom L'chayev Hoin Ra, Ein Odom Chayev L'bazbaz Hoin Ra V'La Mitzvahs. And the Mishabrura, most Achronim say, how much yes? Choimish. Beis Yosef brings Rabbein Yeruchim Isu, based on Ma'aseh Ksofim. That's a bit. So the only one of the Rishonim that deals with the question, how much yes? Tosfos, Rosh, Rashba, Bava Kama, if that's right, Ein Odom Chayev L'Hoitzi Kol Mamornei Ala Mitzvahs. But none of them says how much yes. Beis Yosef, Tov Reish Nun Vav, quotes Ben Yeruchim, a 10. And Beis Yosef says, Lo Yudati Menayin Lo. And the Mishnah Berurah's understanding in Bialoch is Menayin Lo, only a 10th, maybe more. And to me it's a Teimah Gedolah. When you learn the Beis Yosef, he brings a Chumrah. And he writes Lo Yudati Menayin Lo. It's not a Kula. The Rabbeinu Yerucham writes that a person has to spend 10% of what he has on mitzvah. The Rebbe says Menayla. So my understanding is the Mama Mordechai. He's a yochid, and I think he's right. Avasosam v'roi perish. And in my opinion, if Taisus and the Rosh and the Rashba don't say how much yes, and the Ramah doesn't say how much yes, that is because nobody knows how much yes. You can't say how much yes. We can say how much no. How do we define Hoin Rav? And I say totally relative. So I always say, and I'm using the marshal, person is oigid his lulav erev sukkos in the afternoon, and suddenly he's shocked that he has his arovis posel, it's nikta. Puts on his jacket and he runs koloid nafsho boy to the shuk of Dalet Minim. And the last 13-year-old boy looks around and he understands an opportunity that will never come back. A business opportunity that will never come back. And he says, do you still have an arava? He says, yes, I have an arava, 3,000 shekel. He says, Shulina, this morning I bought 2 aravas for 5 shekel. That was this morning. Look around, he tells him. Look around, the price went up. It's 3,000 shekel on arava. Does he have to buy that arava for 3,000 shekel? Of course not. Hoin Rav. But then he asked the Rav, I don't understand. Yesterday I told him I'm having 15 guests for Sukkot, and I need to build a sukkah for my guests, and I asked you, it'll cost 3,000 shekel. Do I have to spend 3,000 shekel for a sukkah? And he said, yes. So why are you saying now I don't have to spend 3,000 shekel for an arava? The reason is very pushing. For a sukkah that could seat 15 people, 3,000 shekel is not a Hoin Rav. But for an arava, it is a Hoin Rav. Hoin Rav is totally relevant. Hoin Rav is a blown up, exaggerated price. You don't have to pay that. So a person wants to be Mekayim Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. Would 3,000 shekel be considered the Hoin Rav? 3,000 shekel is peanuts. It's nothing. If you want to move from America to Eretz Yisrael, it'll cost you at least $50,000, $100,000. That's not Hoin Rav for Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. 3,000 shekel is not Hoin Rav for a sukkah. 3,000 shekel for an arava is Hoin Rav. And that is why the Ramah doesn't say how much yes. How much yes? Normal price, reasonable price. But if anybody wants to take advantage of you, you're not mechuyah. And that is poshet and emes lahalach. And the same would refer to tercha. How much tercha does a person need to be terech for mitzvah? How much tsar and bodily suffering does a person have to take upon himself? What is reasonable? So mitzvah's milah, does a person have to inflict a wound on his flesh to be makayim a mitzvah? So a person wants to be makayim a shavas aveda, or kviyas mezuzah, but there's a riot out on the street and they're throwing stones. He won't be killed, but he might get a stone in his head and it'll be taken to the Chadar Miyun. Is he mechuyev? No, because it might cause pain. So why is a person mechuyev in milah? Mitzvah's milah. It's cutting the flesh of a baby. That's the nature of mitzvah's milah. Regarding milah, it's not tzarav. That's reasonable. Milah always incurs pain, but a shavas aveda doesn't need to incur pain. So by shavas aveda, if they're throwing rocks, you're potter. Mezuzah, you're potter. Many other mitzvahs, you're potter. But milah, that is the nature of milah. How much tircha? So in Hilchas Tefillah we find dalet parsa. There's a mitzvah of aliyah l'regel, sholosh pomim b'shona. Does a person have to go more than dalet parsa to be makayim aliyah l'regel? Of course. He has to come from the other side of the world. Sholosh pomim b'shona. And Chagigi, you have the story of a barbarav dechad yoima. But dalet parsa, that's the shiv netilas yadayim. Depends what the nature of the mitzvah is. And that is exactly what I say legabe hoitzos, legabe hoin rav. So, how much tercha does a person need to be toreach to be mekayim a mitzvah and to be mahader in a mitzvah? to be boidik dafka beleil yudalet. So I think what Bedikas Chumash usually takes. So if you have a big house, you can't say it'll take me an hour on Potter. That's Bedikas Chumash. That's the price you pay for having a big house. You want to have a big house, yeah. So you have a big mitzvah. If you have a big house, you have a big mitzvah. The bigger the house, the bigger the mitzvah. But that is the tercha that Bedikas Chumash always incurs. That is what you're mechuyev. But Bedikas Chumash is not supposed to incur a tercha of driving 2 hours till you get to that house. And therefore, that's beyond the chiyuv. And then, we're not dealing with a bitul mitzvah, but rather with a b'di'evet. So in those cases, you could be boidik chumetz, or Yud Gimel, or Yud Beis, or Yud Aleph, or Fiyuinyan. And you could even be boidik chumetz by day, and you don't have to do it by night. If it's a tercha to stay overnight, you usually close the office 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't have to stay another 5 hours to be boidik by night, because me'ikar adin, I think, all our houses and rooms have a din of an achsadra shel ha'oiro nivdekes. Because with modern lighting, our houses have far more light than any achsadra had in the past. And achsadra has big windows. But even in achsadra, in the corners of the room, you don't have sufficient lighting. But in a modern house, when you have sufficient lighting and it's balanced lighting, the din of la'or there is only alachatchila, achsadra la'or nivdekes. So I think when we're dealing with an extreme tercha, which means driving out to your office, to your clinic, to your army base, to your room in the yeshiva, to your summer home, and you're not selling it to a goy, you can't sell it to a goy, because chalamoid, you will need to get there and use that place, then in those cases a person definitely can be the boidik chumetz earlier.
Not a car. Car is usually nearby. It's in the park.
Yeah, a car you need to be boidik,
Our level.
not all our bosses, because being boidik a car with a ner is a sakona gedola. Today there was a terrible tragedy of a frum family that was killed, parents and children, a murdic tragedy when a car was in an accident and fire struck the car and an entire family, a loyal lady, was destroyed. So I think a car you should be boidik leil yudalet with a flashlight, definitely not with a ner. And a flashlight is just as good as a ner. But I would never use a flashlight. I would only use a ner. And why is that? That's what my father did. That's what his father did. And that's probably what my great grandfathers did, and from Moshe Rabbeinu down. And especially when the Gemara says, Ner Hashem Nishmas Odom. I once saw a pshat, Oli Yudalet Botilas Chometz, that means the Bar Mitzvah. Which is Oli Yudalet, okay. Ner Hashem Nishmas Odom. So, we prefer using a ner. A ner is the least efficient of anything else we could use. Any flashlight would be 100 times better than a ner. But 1,000 years ago, they didn't. Before they discovered electricity, so the best thing you could use was a ner. But we use a ner because we do exactly what our fathers did and what our grandfathers did, and I think that's good. That's the way it should be. But in a car, chas v'sholom, not even if 1 in 1,000 cases could cause a chashash of pikuach nefesh, you should be boidik your car with a
It would be
flashlight.
like the Gemara that says if there's a sakana by the mapos, but actually we'd be potter if it's a sakana.
Right, you would be potter entirely from bedikas chometz. But you could use a flashlight. Most people don't have flashlights, so where is he going to get a flashlight? B'leil yudalet. So in that case, you could be boidik by day, in broad daylight, because once again, it's like an asadra shelo oiron of dekas. So asadra is also, according to most poskim, b'di'evet, but some are meikel even lechatchila by asadra.
That's
So I think what?
Yud Gimel, by days Yud Gimel, not Yud Aleph.
Yeah, Yud Gimel. Yeah. So this is more or less the sugya that I wanted to discuss, which is B'dikas Chometz Lefnei Leil Yudaled Aner Ani Yizdaiti in this sugya. I think L'chatchila, one should be boidik his entire home B'leil Yudaled, excluding the kitchen, because in most families they already cook and bake, you know, Yud Gimel and not only Yudaled. And I think that's Mutar L'chatchila, and that is the din of Oisa Beisai Oitza. Oisa Beisai Oitza, Chazal were makel. So what's so important? Oisa Beisai Oitza. So don't make an Oitza. No, a person is not mechuyev to abstain from making an Oitza. So there are cases in which Chazal are matter lechatchila to be boidik toich lamidyan. One of them Oisa Beisai Oitza. What? No. That the Oitza is not. That's Mapoidus. Oisa Beisai Oitza is Chayv Medika. So theoretically, he could be mefana that Oitza, but Chazal weren't mechayev. It's a great tercha. So you're not mechuyev b'leil Yudala to take out all the Pesach, everything you bought for Pesach. Your kitchen is ready. You know, you kasha the shaish, all the mitzrachim. What's mitzrachim? Everything you bought, all the food, everything is in the kitchen. So that is mamish oisa beisai oisa shelachatchila boidik toich la'amed. So before you put the Pesach stuff in your kitchen, your boidik la'ora ner, whether it's leil yud gimel, yud beis, yud aleph, yud, whenever, before you put your stuff in. And if I didn't do b'dikas chometz, my stuff is in already, then I say he's not mechuyev to take it all out, and then we're soymach on Reb Shlomo Kluger and the Marsham, and they maintain when you thoroughly clean your house, it is like a mokum she'ein machnisim bo chometz. How does that go together with the Trumas Hadeshen? How does it go together with the Trumas Hadeshen? So Reb Shlomo Kluger was a big chadjan, comes up with an idea. And he says, Trumas Hadeshen deals with Yom Yud Gimel. But if it's Gimel Yomim, before Pesach, then Gimel Yomim is a Zman Mesuyim, and it's Mokum She'ein Machnisim Bo Chometz. How does he take Gimel Yomim? I don't know. Why Gimel Yomim?
Chayk Yaakov says Chazaka.
What?
Chayk Yaakov says Chazaka.
Chayk Yaakov? Yeah.
I think so.
I don't remember such a
Gimel Yomim says Chazaka.
Really? I'm not aware of such a thing. I think it's only Reb Shlomo Kluger and the Marsham in Das Torah quotes him. So his feeling is, if you cleaned up the place, you weren't yotzachiyah b'dika, but it's a mokum she'ein machnisim bo chometz. In my opinion, mokum she'ein machnisim bo chometz. How do we really define? So mokum she'ein machnisim bo chometz is only if the entire year you didn't put in chometz? Probably not. Mokum she'ein machnisim bo chometz. So I don't know, but it needs to be a considerable amount of time. But when you clean L'chovet Pesach, that doesn't make it a mokum she'ein machnisim bo chometz. If it's ein machnisim bo chometz for any other reason, that's a mokum she'ein machnisim bo chometz. But it's not defined in halacha how much time. So this is a chiddush gadol of Reb Shlomo Kluger, and he says if you clean, but the Tumas Hadeshen negates this svara. He says no. If you clean Yud Gimel, that's not a mokum she'ein machnisim bo chometz. But if it's Gimel Yomim, mokum she'ein machnisim bo chometz. So I think the Shas Adchak, we can rely on the Tumas Hadeshen himself. He says if you clean the place thoroughly and you left another room, then it's okay. So the Shatzin is mefakbik. I am mefakbik. But yesh al ma'alis moich b'shas adchat. So lechatchila, before you bring your stuff into the kitchen, the Pesach stuff, you need to do b'dika l'oranel, one of the nights. But most people don't do that. Most people aren't aware that it's a chiyuv. You do not need to empty out your kitchen. B'leil yudaled, yesh al ma'alis moich. That b'di'eved, you could just leave it as it is and be mekayim the mitzvahs b'dika and the other rules.
Can you do the iron?
What?
Not the Chacham Shalom himself.
Can you do the